Good evening and welcome to the Dollar Dogs and Beer podcast. I'm your host Andrew. Joining me tonight and playoff bound Mr. Joe and the Cubbies. How you doing, bud?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, man. I'm holding up. I don't understand having a 3 o'clock game when it's one of America's top teams. Playing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a little stupid.
Yeah, and frankly, one of the better matchups too. I get that Reds and Dodgers is going to be late because it's out in the West Coast. That one doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, I don't. I'm going to gripe about the scheduling at some point. Don't worry, because I still have complaints from 2022 when Atlanta and Philly kept getting relegated to the early games, and it took some nice rain delays to give us some evening games for what was, frankly, during that round, the best series of the entire playoffs. But I'll rant about that a little later. So, Joe, what are you drinking tonight?
You know what? Why screw anything that's not broken? Stick with the Pepsi Zero for now and see what happens.
Absolutely, I get it. Hey, we're feeling a little fall, so sours are very hard to find right now. So I went with a cider that's actually a little bit sweet, a little bit sour. This is the Cider Boys, the caramel apple version, which actually it's really good. I could. This is a very dangerous cider that I could easily see myself just obliterating without realizing how many I've had. It's quite tasty. All right, so let's roll into it, man. Everything went to the final day yesterday. It was down to Mets and Reds, and the Mets lost 4-0 to the Marlins. If the Mets had won, they would have been in. But the Mets and their huge payroll did not make the postseason this year. I'm not going to harp and beat up on the Mets too much tonight. I'll save that for when we do our regular season wrap at the end of the year. Because I want to get Todd in here because Jason shared a post of Todd's of his thoughts about it, and as usual, Todd didn't hold back any punches, So I want to give Todd a chance to get on here and get his raw thoughts on it as well. But boy, I will leave it with this. I think that's probably the biggest disappointing September any team's had in several years. And it would have been the Tigers eclipsing it if they hadn't snuck in at the very end and did the world a favor by knocking Houston out for the first time in 9 years. So yeah, I said it last Wednesday. As much as I don't like the new schedule, I did enjoy the fact that the races went to the very end. I did.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I'll say about the Mets is I really appreciate the fact that they have an owner who's a fan and who was out there today saying, look, we screwed up. We're going to evaluate what went wrong and we're going to fix it. And you deserve better than that. I really appreciate the brutal honesty and the leveling with the fans that Cohen does.
Absolutely. And Cohen's not, and he does that, and he's not going to make snap judgments. He's going to stop. He's going to evaluate things very thoroughly. I mean, that's how he's run his businesses successfully for how many years now. It's why he's got, more than $1 billion to play with and sign, anybody he wants for any amount of money he wants. So yeah, it's very refreshing to see an owner like that. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen down the road because they did announce today that they're not going to make a change at manager, but they did not guarantee coaching staff would say the same. So if I had to put money down, Joe, I'm thinking the pitching coach is gone. And they're going to bring, and probably look at maybe some of the strength and conditioning guys with all the injuries they had to the pitching staff this year. So we'll see. It's too soon to say.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see how things play out.
Yeah. All right, let's pull up the bracket. Da, 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 da. All right, so here we are. We have the official bracket of 2025. Everything is set in place. Although I'm not going to lie, I do miss game 163. I really do miss that sometimes, or 162 and sometimes 163. But
Hey, you got to be grateful to be Rafi Devers to play 163 this year.
No, that's true. That's a crazy stat that Devers got to 163. You don't see it very often. It's one of those cool, it's one of those cool quirks you have with the trades and things like that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. All
Yeah.
right. So, American League side of the bracket, you have your 6 seed Detroit Tigers taking on their tormentors, the Cleveland Guardians, and the 3 seed that went on one of the hottest streaks we have ever seen in September to just yank what should have been a safe AL Central victory away from the Tigers. And then in the 4-5, you've got, of course, as it always seems to somehow freaking happen, Yankees Red Sox. The Yankees did hold on to the 4 seed, so they will be the home team for the entirety of the wild card round. As a reminder to anybody listening who is unaware of this, in the wild card round, it's a best of 3, and all of the games are played in the higher seed stadium. There is no travel for the wild card round. It's 3 straight days, which I like that.
Mm-hmm.
One and done, I'm glad one and done is gone, and that's a good reward for getting the high seed, is some home games. All right, so right now, so the first game tomorrow is going to be the 1:00 game. It's Tigers at the Guardians. It's going to be on ESPN. My apologies to Tigers and Guardians fans who have to listen to that. I highly recommend you pull up MLB TV and find your local radio broadcast, and then keep the TV on mute. You'll very much enjoy it. So, Joe, Tigers, they limped and backed into the playoffs. The Guardians came in hot as hell. I don't know about you, man. I am very much feeling the Cleveland mojo going right now, and that hot streak's going to continue. I think they're going to sweep the Tigers out in 2. What do you think?
I definitely think they'll advance. I'm not ready to say a flat out sweep in 2, but I do think they'll advance. That Scooble has not been himself the last couple of weeks, and the team itself has not been itself, obviously, either, for a number of weeks now. So I think, you know, sometimes it's just getting hot at the right time, and Cleveland's motivated because it's a nice middle finger to MLB saying you took our two of our relief pitchers. Well, we've got plenty, so.
We've got more loaded and ready to go. Yeah, it's so true. Jason also agreed with us. He picked Guardians over Tigers as well. All right. And then in our other AL wild card, the Red Sox at the Yankees. That is the 6:00 game tomorrow because, again, God forbid they not get a primetime slot for Red Sox and Yankees, as you mentioned, like I think 30 or 40 times in the chat today, and fairly so. Like, hey, no arguments from me, man. All right. And of course, with these best of 3, depending on how things roll out, if some go 3, some go 2, they will flex times higher up accordingly.
Right.
The Red Sox, they really did not bring a ton of momentum into the playoffs. They kind of just held on. I mean, they got done what they needed to get done, but it wasn't what's the word I'm looking for here? It wasn't the most inspiring show from the Red Sox. Do you think that Red Sox? You can never bet on anything with Red Sox Yankees ever. So what are you thinking here, Joe? I think I'm actually going to go upset. I think I'm going to go Red Sox, but in 3.
Yeah, that's the way I'm kind of feeling initially. Some interesting things with the Yankees in the playoffs the last 10 years. This might be of note for you. When they've played teams in the AL Central, they have a record of 19-6 and have won all 7 series. Versus teams not in the AL Central, to include the Red Sox, Rays, A's, Dodgers, and Astros, they have a record of 10-24 and have won 1 of those 9 series. But I mean that's something to consider, I think, and that's something that sort of gets me going. Well, if recent history is anything, then maybe the Red Sox just either take this cleanly or take this in 3. I mean, given the way that they've played uninspired down the stretch, the Red Sox really they did what, like you said, they did what they needed to do, but they're not necessarily, they weren't necessarily fighting really hard toward the end.
Yeah.
that's going to lead me to go Yankees. I'm going to go 3, but it's going to be the Yankees. That's my pick.
Yeah, and to be fair, the Yankees definitely carried more momentum, and they were fighting the Blue Jays pretty tight towards the end. I would not be surprised to see the Yankees win it. Jason did pick the Red Sox over the Yankees. All right, let's move it over to the National League side. We've got the 6 seed Reds will be in LA playing the Dodgers. That is the 9 o'clock game tomorrow and the late game for the entire series until it's over. The Reds, man, dude, I called it in the preseason. The Reds are scrappy. They're fun to watch, and they might surprise you, and that's exactly what they did. You know, they held the tiebreaker over the Mets, and the Mets couldn't win a game they absolutely had to win. So, not I personally, again, I'm not surprised to see it. And I called the Reds being in here on Wednesday, and even last week, I said the week before that, I said the Reds were going to get into that 6th spot and hold on to it, which they did. So, that said, they're going up against the defending World Series champions, and frankly, although a wounded beast, still a beast of a roster to get through. Do you think the Reds have enough to take the Dodgers down?
I mean, momentum's a thing. Like we keep talking about that. I think momentum's a thing here. Um, I think if the Reds win this, it's going to be 3 games. I don't think they're going to take it in 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think it kind of depends. I mean, you're looking at it'll be Snell in game 1, Yamamoto in game 2, and then Otani if they play game 3.
Okay.
So to me, um, I feel like Snell is one they can get, and I feel like Otani is one they can get. Yamamoto, I think, would be a fairly confident win for the Dodgers. So to me, I'm the numbers probably say the Dodgers, but you know what? Screw it. Reds in 3.
I love it, dude. I love it. I want to take the Reds. I really do. The Reds remind me too much of like Atlanta in 2018, 2019. A lot of talent there, but not a lot of experience in the postseason. I think it's going to catch up with them, whereas the Dodgers are extremely experienced in postseason play. And yeah, Yamamoto he's been practically unbeatable lately. He might be the best pitcher in the entire playoffs right now, or one of them, if not. So I'm going to take the Dodgers, but I am going to say Dodgers in 3. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I do think the Reds get at least 1. Jason also had Dodgers over the Reds. And now for the series that you are, of course, rooting for the most, the Cubs and the Padres. Joe, tell me how many games it's going to take the Cubs to knock the Padres out.
Well, why don't you tell me your prediction first because I want to kind of elaborate a little bit since it is my team.
That's fair. That's fair. So I'll give you Jason's pick first. Jason took the Cubs over the Padres. I didn't ask Jason for a number of games. That's why I'm not giving those with his predictions. I understand all of your concerns that you've had. Very, very valid concerns, well thought out concerns. Looking at the roster construction, I like their bullpen better, but that's the only part of their roster that I like better right now. I think the Cubs are going to be able to get the bats together, especially if a certain outfielder losing money because of injuries this year decides to fully heal in time for the playoffs and give you his full potential out there. I like your pitching, man. I really like your starting pitching, and I'm going to take the Cubbies. I'm going to take it in 3. I'm not going to take a sweep. The Padres are too good to sweep, but I do think the Cubs are going to prevail, and it's going to be a Cubs Brewers rematch in the NLDS, which is exciting. What do you think?
Yeah, look, to me, I feel like this is going to be 3 games. I just don't see them taking it easily in 2.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously playing at Wrigley matters a little bit with this one. Um, you know, to me, the concern is, Tucker made it back for the Cardinals series. I can't remember. I didn't really look at his stats this weekend. I wasn't paying attention a whole lot. Um, just other stuff going on. But,
Of course.
um, go ahead.
Unlike me, who has nothing else to watch this past weekend, especially when football decided to crap the bed on me twice early. I actually was paying a little bit of attention to baseball because what else was there to watch after the Vikings lost to Aaron Rodgers? I was like, yeah, I'm not watching any more football today. So I was checking out some more baseball. Give me a second. I'm pulling up Tucker's line from yesterday. Here it is. Tucker went. There he is. He went over 3 with a strikeout yesterday. But his swing. But what I like to see is that his swing looked better. It didn't look like he was trying to force anything. It looked like he was comfortable swinging, which is something we haven't seen in 2 months at least. So I think you should. I think it should be. Even if it wasn't a great, series against the Cardinals, I think it should be looked on well that he was making swings. Friday night he went 1 for 4. He scored 2 runs. He had a walk. Let me see if he had any extra base hits. No, he didn't have any extra base hits. But he's getting on. He's moving. Give him more at bats in the playoffs. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, to me, I'm like at this point, I really don't care what he does. To me, the bigger issue for me is obviously Pete, Saya. Those 2 guys have really struggled in the second half. Pete's done a little better the last 2 weeks, maybe, but overall they've struggled in the second half. I mean, Pete had 25 homers at the All-Star break, and it took him all till this weekend to get to 30. So, a lot of concerns there for me as an everyday fan. But and to me, obviously, the bad news with Horton not playing in the wild card round at all, with the broken rib. To me, it just feels like you have to get your absolute best from Matthew Boyd, and you haven't gotten that in the last month. And Imanaga's been shaky too. Ironically, Tyone is the one I feel the safest about, and he doesn't pitch till Thursdays if they make it there. So I'm gonna go 3, and I'm gonna go Padres. And will I be happy if I'm wrong? Yes. But I'm going to go Padres because I'm just not convinced that the starters they have and the hitting that they've not really done outside of really Ian, Dansby, and Nico have been the best hitters on the club for the better part of a month. And when they're doing that and they're not the ones driving in runs, that's a problem. So, to me, I'm going Padres. It's going to be 3. I'm going to be extremely disappointed come the weekend, and what? It's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. All right. We're also going to do division round predictions tonight, since we won't have time to slip an episode between the wild card and division round. Warwick's got the home competition this weekend, so from Thursday night, Friday on, I'm pretty much booked until Sunday, so no chance to slip anything in. So let's go back over to the ALDS side. So all 3 of us had the Guardians taking out the Tigers, so that means the next round would be Guardians and Mariners, and that's a juicy matchup because that's 2 of the hottest teams going in. Because Seattle also, if you'll remember, got really hot in the second half of September and just ran away with the AL West. Friend of the show, Dave, he's got to be over the moon right now, but also cautious since the Mariners haven't advanced in the playoffs since 2001. Yes, 2001. I did say that. It's been 24 years. It's been quite a while. They're due. I do like the Mariners over the Guardians. I like their pitching a little better. I like their hitting better. I'm going to take Mariners over Guardians in 4 because that's a best of 5 series. What do you think?
I think it's going to go 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with that. I think you're going to have 2 hot teams, and a couple are going to go, each way. Obviously, um, I mean, I love Seattle's starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
The to me, it feels like Cleveland is starting to feel like one of those teams where they're like the Marlins of you know when the Marlins make it as a wild card and they somehow just take it and go.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that feel to them.
Well, let's remember the Marlins have only ever been eliminated from the playoffs one time in their history.
Right.
They're a young franchise and they haven't been there a lot, but when they get there, they get it done. It's a hell of a streak.
Yeah. Shoot. You know what? I feel like the starting pitching is going to make a little bit more of a difference. I don't know that I love the offense better than Cleveland, but you know what? Screw it. Cleveland in
All
5.
right.
Why not?
Cleveland in 5. All right. On the bottom half, with the Red Sox and the Yankees, the winner will advance out for the number 1 seed overall Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, I've been having a hard time getting a feel of them because it's like they were slowing down and then they picked a little bit of momentum back up. They slowed down, they picked a little bit back. It was really kind of back and forth all of September, and they held the tiebreaker. So they're really, even though the Yankees were pushing them in the final days, I was never really concerned that the Yankees would ever catch the Blue Jays and take the AL East away from them. Now, that said, though, did I pick the Yankees, the Red Sox to go on? I've already forgotten.
You picked the Red Sox and
You picked the
Jason
Red
picked the Red
Sox.
Sox.
Okay, you picked the Yankees. That's right. I don't think the Red Sox have. Yeah, I don't think the Red Sox have enough to beat the Blue Jays. I'm going to take Blue Jays. I'm going to take 3. I think the Blue Jays would sweep the Red Sox. No, Crochet's going to pitch. It's going to be Blue Jays in 4. If I would have picked the Yankees, I'd take the Yankees here personally. Let me see what Jason has before you pop on. Jason said Sox over. So Jason thinks the Sox can beat the Blue Jays. He has the Sox over them. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Blue Jays, and I'm gonna say it's in 5.
Okay.
I feel like I see a lot of these series just because these teams are so close together
And
that
know each
these
other
these
really
series
well.
are gonna go the max.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Blue Jays in 5.
when you have 3 teams from the same division all in the same quadrant, yeah, there's a lot of familiarity there. There's going to be no surprises pulled by either team, by any of the 3 teams in the AL wild card and DS round from the AL East side. All right, moving over to the National League side. I know this is going to totally shock you in the top bracket, but Jason has the Phillies over the Dodgers. I know you're shocked. I'm shocked. We're all shocked by that one. Again, what's your team in the playoffs? It's never a homer pick. To be honest, though, I do like the Phillies over the Dodgers. One thing I didn't mention last round, I love the Francona effect on the Reds too. I don't personally think it's going to be enough to get past the Dodgers this year. Next year, yes. So I said Dodgers. I think Phillies Dodgers will go 5. So I am going to take the Phillies, and I'll take the Phillies in 5 in that home field. And Citizens Bank Park is going to be going absolutely nuts in Game 5 when it gets back to Philadelphia. What do you think?
I'm gonna go Phillies. To me, I feel like you know what? Heck with it. Phillies sweep them in 3.
You said the Reds, right?
I had yeah. Well,
Okay.
they're playing the. I have them playing the Reds. They
Yeah.
sweep the Reds in 3. If they're playing the Dodgers, I feel the same way.
Really? You think they'd sweep the
I'm
Dodgers? Okay.
yeah. I don't care. To me, you can have 1,000 superstars on your team, but I just don't really.
Hmm.
I don't think it's enough. Like last year, it was enough, but last year also kind of just felt. You know what? I'll say it. People say it about the NFL all the time. I feel like last year it was scripted to have Otani and Judge. Like it just felt that way
It,
to me, especially coming off the fact that
yeah.
you let the guy go from. No, he didn't gamble. Okay,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
just felt
Yeah, and he
it
also
felt
didn't
too
get
scripted last year for
$36
me, and I
million.
just don't believe that they're that good.
No, the Dodgers are definitely not what they were last year. They missed. Oh, I read it somewhere earlier today. They missed, I think, 2,500 starts from players injured this year, by far the most in
Yeah,
the majors. Um, I can't remember where I saw that, but I know they lost a significant number of players for a significant period of time, and were dipping into their minor league system pretty hard for a lot of the year.
you're.
So
I mean, their most consistent hitter for a majority of the year was Will Smith. And I know that because he was on my fantasy team and he was the one guy I had to continue to start because he's the one who was hitting.
yeah,
So to me, when he's been your most reliable hitter, that's just not going to be enough.
yeah, and
So,
just for the edification of people, Joe's not saying that because he's a catcher, because Cal Raleigh as your most reliable hitter is ridiculous. He's saying that because Will Smith is not Cal Raleigh.
well, and it's not even that. It's just Will Smith is not Freddie Freeman, Mookie
Right,
Betts,
right.
Shohei Otani for all of his
Will Smith is a
ridiculousness.
great, consistent hitter. He's got flashes of power, but he's not even at like he's never going to be like, even if he played every day, he wouldn't be like a classic like a chipper, a 3,100 guy. He's never going to be that, even if he was an everyday player.
Right.
He's not going to, he's more of like the non-potential steroids year out of Brady Anderson and the Orioles back in the 90s. Let's take away that 40-50 home run year. He's more like that without the speed. It's kind of what I feel.
Yeah, Will Smith is your prototypical six hitter. He's streaky. Sometimes he's got a lot of power, and sometimes he just puts the ball in play and makes things happen. And that's just what you know. To me, he's been the most marquee hitter, and you know the Dodgers would have been playing the Cubs if it weren't for the fact that the Padres couldn't get out of their own freaking way.
Yeah, that
That
was
stretch.
wild. I have never seen two teams mirror results like the Padres and the Dodgers did this September. That was absolutely wild. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's how that ended up. Yeah, I think it's a pretty safe bet that I think most pundits are also going to be picking the Phillies to be moving on. They're just, even without Zach Wheeler in a 5-game series, I'm not worried about anything with the Phillies. And no, Jason, I'm not trying to jinx the Phillies. I'm resigned to the fact that nobody on that top half of the bracket has the firepower other than maybe the Dodgers to knock them out. And I don't think the Dodgers have it this year. Last year, yes. This year, no.
yeah, yeah. So just, they're Phillies are winning this thing in 3. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care.
Yeah. All right. Let's slip it down to the other half of the bracket. I had the Cubs coming out to play the Brewers. Joe, I'd love to say otherwise. And your AL or your NL Rookie of the Year candidate should be back for that series, hopefully. Um, eh. Sorry, bud. I'm taking the Brewers in 4. I think the Cubs can steal one, but I'm going to take the Brewers in 4.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm gonna take the Padres. Probably is that 5 or yeah, it's 5.
That's,
You know what? I'm gonna say the Padres in 5.
ooh, Padres over Brewers in 5.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. It hurts my soul to even pick the Brewers to win the damn series, but
Look,
yeah,
I mean, look. This is no discredit to the Brewers. I think the Brewers are a fantastic team. I just, for me, I just feel that the Padres, like when look, if you're going to be down to the Padres, good luck to you.
yeah.
You've got Mason Miller, you've got I forget the other guy's name, and then you've got Suarez. Like, come on. I mean, if you're going to be down to them, good luck to you. And I think Milwaukee will get down to them 1 or 2 games, and it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, I do agree. That's a lot of firepower. It's you got to get your damage done early. You can't rely on late rallies. Jason did pick Cubs over Brewers, so I don't know if he had a concussion earlier today or what, but that was Jason's pick. All right, so those are our picks for the first 2 rounds. Before we wrap it up tonight, Joe, let's look at we'll look at all of the 12 teams that are in. What's your World Series matchup and who's your winner?
Well, I mean,
and you can this can be separate from your predictions. You can pick whoever the hell you want. I don't care.
I mean, let's just. I mean, since we're in, like, since we've already gone out to the CSs. I mean, look, to me, it's if it's Cleveland and the Blue Jays and the Cleveland's able to ride this wave, then it's going to be Cleveland. Of the LCS I picked, I'm going to say Philly. So, um, yeah, I think Philly takes the whole thing. And Jason didn't pay me to say that. I just think they're the better ball club. Um,
he didn't. Can confirm.
no.
Jason's pick for the World Series would be Mariners Phils, and he has, of course, the Phillies winning. Again, you can't call Homer pick in the playoffs. You can't.
I will say this. I know I didn't pick the Cubs, obviously, and I don't think that's. I think I'm just too pessimistic, and I've seen this before, and this is not a better team than they had in 2016. It's just not. And so if the Cubs do, make it past the Padres, they will make it past the Brewers, and they'll lose to Philly in the LCS. Like,
yeah, the Cubs do not have the firepower to take the Phillies out.
no, and I mean, yeah, you may have Horton back by then, but seriously, you know, Boyd is still good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's sub 3 at home on the year. So he's in the mid 2s on the year at home. But lately he's been giving up home runs. He's not had his sharpest stuff. And Imanaga has given up probably 12 home runs in the last 6 starts, and that's just not good enough.
Do you think it's fatigue? I don't remember. Imanaga and Boyd haven't really pitched this much this late ever, have they?
I mean, Imanaga pitched plenty last year. Imanaga had a fantastic year last year, but I think when you look at Imanaga in particular, look, he's a high fastball pitcher, and when they catch up to it, it's going to go out. And so to me, people have caught up to him a little bit more. There's more tape on him.
Yeah.
Obviously. And so I think that certainly has contributed to it. I mean, I think for Boyd, he's been much better at home than on the road. So having it at Wrigley is the only benefit really to him. But Boyd is someone who's been injured a lot. And I don't know if I don't think he's passed his innings ever. I don't know. I haven't really seen the numbers on that. But Boyd probably could be fatigue. I mean, look, there's no secret. You started the year with planning to have Steele 1, Imanaga 2, and then Boyd 3 or 4, and for Boyd to end up being your ace basically.
Mhm.
Outside of obviously Horton's second half, I mean that's a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
and for the most part, he's lived up to it up to the last 4 or 5 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, the last time Boyd threw this many innings was 2019, threw 185 and a third. He went 179 and two-thirds this year. He hasn't been over 100 innings in a year since 2019 because of injury and, of course, the COVID season.
Right, right.
So, so we'll see there. Imanaga, less innings, obviously, this year. I forgot he was hurt for the middle part of the season. I will say this of Imanaga, the strikeouts are way down. And again, I think you're absolutely right. Teams have more tape on him. Home runs are up. His control is still impeccable, though. He actually walked 2 less guys than he did last year. 26 walks this year is freaking ridiculous in 25 starts.
I will say this about Shota. Regardless of how he pitches, as far as the results go, he's a really fun watch if you're just a baseball fan. Just his mannerisms on the mound, his respect to the umpire, and a lot of those things. Like, the way he finishes pitches, sometimes it kind of just holds this like pose to see what's going to happen and whatnot. But like, so he's fun to watch from a mannerism and that respect too. So like, obviously I care about the results, but if you don't care about the results, then he's a fun watch at least.
Yeah. He is one of my favorite non-Braves pitchers to watch. I'm not going to lie, for those exact reasons that you listed off. All right, let's see. So my pick. Okay, let me look at the bracket again. If seeds play out, we do this. I think we're going to see a first-time winner this year, Joe. I think the Mariners are going to take the whole thing. I like the Mariners starting pitching a lot. And that home field advantage is going to be huge for them in that ballpark where they hit better than anybody there. From the National League, who are they going to beat? It's either going to be Brewers or Phillies. I'll be contrary. No, it hurts my soul too much to say Brewers. We're not going to see 2 teams go in that have never won a World Series this year because that would be Brewers Mariners. It'll be I'm going to go with Jason's matchup of Mariners Phillies, but I'm going to take the Mariners over the Phillies instead. Nothing to do with any kind of rivalry or anything like that. I just like the Mariners better with what they have.
That sounds to me like you guys should do some sort of friendly wager.
Absolutely not, dude. I have no dog in the fight because if it was going to be Braves Phillies again, I would absolutely do another friendly wager and get stuck wearing a fucking Harper jersey once again. Actually, hopefully Jason would pick a good player this time instead of Harper. One of the pitchers, perhaps. But I will say this: if we get to a World Series preview show of Phillies and Mariners, you're damn right the Ichiro jersey's coming out.
You know what? I think this friendly wager should be left up to the audience. I think the audience should flood our messages in our post and tell us if there should be a friendly wager on this World Series matchup if it happens.
If it happens, I will cede to the whims of the fans. I will do it. Oh God, I'm not going to let the fans pick which jersey. I'll let Jason have the honor if the Phillies would happen to win it all, but I'm not. God, if I have to wear that damn Harper jersey again, because I know that's the one he'd pick. Ugh. Anyway, all right. So, guys, that's where we're at. That's what we're thinking for the first 2 rounds, plus our way too early picks for the World Series. Maybe not way too early, but let's face it, it's too early to definitely say anything with any certainty. We'll be back on hopefully before I'm hoping we'll find time before the championship round starts to sneak an episode in there. If not, we might do a mid-championship round, and we'll definitely be back on before the World Series starts. So, it's going to be exciting. again, we won't have Jason. I'll make sure Jason at least gives us predictions and thoughts throughout, since he'll be a little bit too busy to join us. Although, if it does turn out that the Phillies are in the World Series, I think we need to insist that he takes the night off and joins us so he can, pump himself up and get ready for the World Series. I don't want to take that away from him. I had too much fun back in 21 when Atlanta ran all the way to the World Series as well. And even when the Phillies lost to the Astros, I know he had a good time that postseason too. So we'll make sure if the Phillies do make a deep run, we'll make sure we drag Jason back on here kicking and screaming. All right, guys. So audio recordings are available: Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you find podcasts. Merchandise is at redbubble.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/dollardogsandbeer. You can watch us live on both Facebook as well as YouTube. We are presented by Dark Arrow Podcast LLC and sponsored by Barron Barbershop over in Mannheim. Johnny, good luck to your Yankees, man. As much as it pains me to say it, I wish you the best against your Red Sox. Guys, may your dogs always cost $1. May your beer always be cold. We'll see you in a couple rounds.